All right. Ooh, that's a little too loud. Hold on. Let me lower this down real quick. All right. How's it going, everybody? Uh, and welcome to the long overdue talk that I need to make. Right. I'm doing this again because one, I didn't, what is it, change OBS from FLV into MP4 because Premiere would not accept an FLV file, which I didn't know. So that was my own undoing. And another thing is because I totally forgot that OBS does give you those options. It's been a very, very long time since I used OBS. The last time I used OBS was like when it was the very first time I started streaming. And I remember switching into XSplit at that moment in time because for some reason on OBS back in the heyday, for me it gave me a lot of recording issues where I just straight up could not get smooth footage at all. Like I remember it specifically, I was playing Corpse Party for the very first time, and when I would walk out of a door, a lot of frames would skip, and then so I walk out the door and then I would be outside the door, but then like literally a millisecond later, I would really be down the hall in that game. So I switched to XSplit and then tried it out for free, the 30 FPS and then the 60 FPS eventually, and it just ran it better for whatever reason. Anyways, that's enough about me blabbering. The long overdue talk. Where have I been, and so on and so forth. But I do have to say this right now that this video is gonna solidify my position in terms of my quote-unquote YouTube career. Now, first thing is first, I do want to say that thanks to everybody that watched the recent Under Night video. One, obviously it means a lot that you guys watched it. 500 views. I was about to say 500K. Stupid. 500 views in a single day, 24 hours, and a lot of likes, like 50 likes or something. And I know that it's in part that, you know, I am known as the Under Night guy, and since it's been so long for an actual video, so people saw the video and be like, oh my god, he actually came back for Under Night news. Of course he comes back for Under Night news. So people left really nice comments, and the likes, it really means a lot. So thank you guys very much for that. But it's time for a real change of things, and it's my position on YouTube. Now, I'm being real. I already know that I'm a small creator. There's no way around it. So anything I say is definitely not like trying to victimize myself or you guys and putting blame on one another. Hell no. It's just me being real. So hopefully, again, you guys are doing well. Glad you guys are here, and this is going to be a lengthy one, but where have I been? The short answer is work, but I would be lying to myself if I am saying that that was the only real reason behind my decision to literally leave YouTube and Twitch. So the first thing is first, let's just talk about work. If you guys know me, especially if you guys watched me on Twitch and follow me on Twitter, you guys would know that I work at home. I have a home business. Me and my family, you know, again, we just sell things straight from the house. So with that said and done, the schedule itself is pretty intense. You would think you would work on your own schedule, but you don't. You work on what needs to be done. And in short, I would, especially as of now, it's 10, 11-ish, all the way up to 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. and maybe even sometimes 1 in the morning. So you could already see that crazy ass schedule is not fun, but it's something that needs to be done in order to make these orders go out on time. So that's the first reason why I haven't been back, is because of the crazy work that is there. Working those hours is not fun. And so now the other reason is my time. When I do have the time to stream and maybe record some videos. Back in the heyday when I literally had all the time in the world, I would stream around 8, maybe 8, 9, and end at like 1 or 2 in the morning. But obviously, for reasons, I can't do that anymore. It is nearly impossible for me to do that. And I know a lot of people and some close friends, they try to support me and in terms of like my mental state, because I would bring this up and they're like, dude, don't worry. They're people. They would understand that life happens. Shit happens. You can't do anything about that. So I would stream around that time, make videos, edit, and freaking make my own thumbnails, go to sleep, rinse and repeat, edit, and yeah, that was hell on earth. It was extremely unhealthy. It was just a lot. It was just a lot. I was getting gray hairs. I was getting stressed out because of the grind, and the grind is necessary, but that's gonna be another topic that's gonna happen later on in this video. So that's reason number 2. The time I would work and like the job to the time I would content create and edit and all that stuff, it collided with one another way too much. And I'm a small person. I thought I pressed my mute button real quick. I'm a small person. Nowadays, editors are mandatory. They are hella mandatory for you and your growth on YouTube and your fucking well-being in general, because you as an individual don't need to worry about the things. You just make, and you make that content and that's it. You give it to your editor, they do the dirty work. I'm not gonna do that. I'm a small individual. 1, I don't think anybody would be willing to do that enough for me. 2, I really don't have the time to do it. And yeah, it's not healthy. It's not healthy, boys. Now, reason number 3. Damn, it's gonna be tough, but let's just talk about the grind mentality, right? I want to say there's a 2-parter for this section, but not really. And basically, the grind when I had all this going with me was the grind mentality was I have to get things out to get exposed. I have to stream 24/7, especially if I want that partner program on Twitch, right? It's like 75 viewers in 30 days consecutively. That is insane. That is a huge milestone, and I tried to do that. I tried to stream every day. I exceeded all the other requirements on Twitch, literally except for the viewers. It would be 35, maybe even like 40 at max, but getting to that 75, it's rough. Dude, I didn't work on a schedule. I guess you could say that's my fault, but I didn't really care because the grind, I needed to grind. I needed to do this. When I get this partnership, then I would do the schedule. But as of now, I gotta grind, and that was eating away at my mental health. And obviously, with all the reasonings I gave before you, it not work. It did not work well. Now, the 4th reason I'm about to tell you would probably be the biggest reason on why I did leave, and this is gonna be a big one, or a lengthy one, I should say. So, with the grind and the schedule, I was still motivated to make things, right? Now there was the moments that I pinpoint and figure that really led me to my choice on why I ditched YouTube later in life and Twitch. And there's 2 games that I completely fumbled on that could have skyrocketed my quote-unquote YouTube career, but I took the wrong turn. I did the no-no decision that I clearly shouldn't have. The first one being is BB Tag, and I already know people are like, hand slapping their foreheads. It's like, oh my god, here he goes again. But it's true. I'm not bashing anything. I'm not putting blame on anybody. It's just mere facts. So obviously with BB Tag coming out, uh, my reaction is still up. I was ecstatic. BB Tag, Ruby, I can't believe Ruby Rose was in there. Oh my god, you got Hyde, Under Knight. Oh my god, you're clashing with Narukami all of a sudden. That was sick, man. I was stoked. Like everybody else in the right mind would be if they were a fan of all 4 of those franchises. At first, I was covering it with a lot of positivity. With a lot of questions, and those questions weren't like bashing already. I need to point that out right now. Those questions of like, how the hell is the game gonna work? Because Blaze Blue, you got technically 4 attack buttons, and D being your special button. Under Night, you got 3 attack buttons, and D being a shield. Persona got the Persona buttons, and then your normal human buttons. Yeah, I remember making that video. Yeah, I was ecstatic for BB Tag. Then the game starts being exposed more and more and more, and I hated so many aspects of the game that I could not support it anymore. Now the whole cross combo shit, that could be fun, or cross tag combo, whatever the hell it was, that's kind of fun, but that's like one quality out of all the mechanics that was like okay at best. I'm getting off a tangent. In short, I critiqued the game heavily on a neutral stance. Not even an emotional stance, it's just pure neutral. I did not like a lot of the decisions that the game made. And for obvious reasons, people didn't like that. I wasn't afraid to put out those opinions on YouTube, but people, you know, as expected, right, just did not like that. They didn't want any kind of negativity towards a game that they're hyped about, so they went to others that were extremely positive for the game. And I can't blame them. I really can't blame them, right? When that happened, my momentum for growth absolutely stalled. But my motivation to keep on making videos was completely fine, because even though a lot of people left because of those videos to find others more positive, there were still people that stayed, right? And they were more not understandable, but they were more understanding on why I was saying these things rather than, damn, you're stupid, you know what I mean? So that was a huge like factor on growth being stalled for my channel. But again, I didn't lose motivation to create content. I still made content no matter what. Not of the game, but just in general. And then there was the Grand Blue versus situation. Now, again, if you guys follow me on Twitter and Twitch, remember any of the past VODs that I did, I love Grand Blue. I never streamed it on Twitch at all. It's really just my game, right, that I would play on my Losum. I love it. I love playing it. I love the different classes, the different team synergies that you could do. I love the stories, multiple, right, because you got to include the side stories as well. I love the music. I love the characters and how they interact with one another. It is one of the best mobile games to have easily touched this freaking world. I genuinely love Grand Blue Fantasy. And so when Versus was announced, obviously, it's the perfect harmony for me as an individual. I love playing the mobile game. I love the characters. I know a lot of these characters and their stories. And we're about to get a fighting game. Oh my god, it's beautiful. And it's with Arxis, with their like their pop-off moment after Dragon Ball Fighters. This is the moment that I could actually launch my YouTube career. And then the gameplay happened. I didn't like it. I don't think it's a trash fighting game to this day, but there's only so much that you could do in that game, and it makes me upset. People, I still remember it to this day, people either called it anime Street Fighter, you know, the same people that called Under Night Anime Street Fighter as well, which is ridiculous. And then you got people that called it Anime Samurai Showdown. It made me upset because it's nowhere near those two games at all. And again, I wasn't really afraid to share my opinions and share my thoughts, critiquing the game in another neutral standpoint, but people didn't like that. So I fumbled twice, and my momentum for channel growth absolutely stalled. The only time it grew, and again, thank you guys, the only time it grew was when I did something I truly, truly loved. And it was Under Night. And obviously, there's only so much I could do for Under Night. But when it was announced for EVO, that was the moment. I'm going to make these videos to get people into Under Night because it's at EVO. People are going to show interest. So I went absolutely crazy. But the difference between me covering those, obviously, that game into comparing it to the other ones, obviously, is the love aspect. I love Under Night. Yes, there is a lot of flaws in the game, aka Byakuya. Dealing with his ass is rough as hell. But there's a lot more positives in that game, in my eyes, than negatives. And when I made those mechanic videos, I was so happy, one, to see, you know, the views, right? That was amazing. People are showing this much interest into wanting and trying to learn Under Night. And two, like, inspiration. I don't know what to call it, but like, they started learning, and then they started playing, and then they got inspired, and then there was people saying how like he got his other friends into playing it and showed them my videos, and it's like, that's amazing, that's awesome, this is what I want, dude. Again, it can only do so much. My channel absolutely came to a standstill because of me, because of my choices that I made. And back then, it was even more rough, man, because people want to defend anything. And if you don't like what they like, round start, then you're the issue, and they don't want to hear any words you have to say. Did those negative comments affect me as an individual? No, because even after the Grand Blue situation, my motivation was still high. Because you know what? I wanted that Twitch partnership. I have never made a single dime on YouTube. The only reason why my channel was monetized to begin with is because back in the heyday, being monetized was so easy. Getting that monetization itself was an ideal factor for the multi-channel networks, the MCNs, to get you to apply to their network. And boom bop beep boop, then you get the access to the thumbnails and so on and so forth. So I know that YouTube itself is like now being more generous to the creators in terms of the whole ad stuff, but yeah, I never made a single dime on this. The only dimes I made was on Twitch, and that was amazing. Shout out to everybody that donated and subbed. That's reason number 4. That's a lengthy reason. That's a lengthy reason on why I definitely stopped focusing on YouTube and Twitch for a long, long period of time. Now, this final one is kind of personal. And the reason is my friends. Now, a lot of my friends, especially Eternal, they would always say to chase that bag. Excuse me. Freaking you do you, King, right? But I hated that. I love the encouragement, without question. But putting the grind mentality with this, I hated it. So there was a lot of nights where I would stream, and then obviously I would edit right then and there, just to get videos out in the next couple of days. Especially like those Under Night matches, right? And then I would look into Discord, Discord mainly, because that's what we were using. And I would see every single one of them in a call. Everyone that I talked to, everybody that I had a bond with. It didn't feel right when... It doesn't feel right that when you're doing all this work, being the lone wolf that you are, and you see your friends that you could interact with, but you don't, and then they all leave because guess what? It's late. And that happened so many times. And grinding that hard 24/7, literally, right? On Twitch, grinding that hard on YouTube, trying to get that audience that you need, especially for that partnership, and you want growth no matter what. It started eating at me because it felt like in due time, I was just gonna lose them. And I hated that. Like, again, I know a lot of them will be like, hey, yo, chase your bag, King. You do you, but the more time moves forward, when you just start being a loner and start focusing on YouTube and stuff, and you're not hanging out with your friends, for me, it felt like I was about to lose them, and they would be strangers to me. I did not like that. I did not like that. So, and then now with the other, now let's add things together. So doing that and chasing that unrealistic dream after the 2 fumbles that I've made in my YouTube career, right? For exponential growth, I was chasing an unbelievable dream. But with those 2 fumbles and the work and the friends that I felt like I was gonna lose, now going back to the work aspect, when the holidays would be kicking in, when they need me the most, yeah, I tossed it all away. It sounds like I'm rambling. I'm sorry. It's basically 30 minutes of rambling, but it's true. I just did not believe in this dream anymore, I guess you could say. Like, I knew it was a false dream. The grind was... I don't want to say it was pointless, because there was growth. There were moments of growth even after those 2 fumbles. But I clearly made the wrong decisions. I could have been more positive, even if it meant my stance on things as like a real in a real opinion kind of way, being real myself, right? Even if it meant losing that, then I could have grown as well. But I decided not to. It's all on me. And then there was times when I threw it all away, I did not use YouTube at all anymore. I didn't use YouTube and I didn't use Twitch. Like, I haven't even touched YouTube on my phone in years. Because when I do that, when I look at YouTube and open it up and I see my channel, obviously it's not just a channel to watch freaking, rated 18 plus videos like back in the day anymore, right? This is I don't want to, it sounds so corny, but this is the legacy, right? This is really you. You decided to be a content creator, and now you got somewhat of a legacy behind you. And seeing all those people that, asked for me to come back, not on Twitter, right? Twitter, it did happen, but on YouTube, and seeing the positive comments on the recent video, yeah, of course I'm gonna feel guilty, because now looking at it now, it's like I let people down, right? I feel like I let people down, so I really just did not like opening up YouTube and Twitch. I didn't use Twitch for years. I didn't use YouTube for years. Yeah, that's just my mentality, I guess you could say. I felt like a disgrace every time I looked at it, and then not even just that, I felt fear. Not from my viewers, no, absolutely not. I felt fear from YouTube itself, because it's still happening, but the fear of just losing everything on a whim. Freaking Linus Tech Tips got his channel eradicated. T-Jeff, one of the bigger, like, UK comedy duos, right, got their channel fucking hacked as well. And I know a lot of people was just like, look, it will only happen when you click on something, very, very iffy. And I'm glad I have my YouTube and my main email completely separate. So anything I click on my main email that asks for YouTube, obviously is, I know it's fake. But yeah, that fear is just like, I don't want to lose anything. So I would, every time I open up YouTube, and then I get like the guilt pressure, and then I would like get a fucking panic attack, because I feel like I was gonna lose everything, and then I let everybody down. People are gonna forget me, yada yada yada. It was unhealthy. And I still think about it to this day. That's really about it. I don't think I'm gonna be back permanently just because of the work schedule itself. It's still the same even after all these years, right? Because the orders are intense. And I'm happy for that. I'm blessed for that. But I can't do anything about that to affect my quote-unquote official comeback to YouTube, right? If they make Persona 3 Remake, then oh my god, I'm gonna have to make time. Yeah, it is, this is my stance, as I said on Twitter, where it's gonna solidify, and earlier in this video, where it's gonna solidify my stand, my YouTube career. I'm not gonna come back fully. And it could work out in my favor, where I could take time to make videos. That's where I've been. And I'm sorry that you guys have to hear that. I would, trust me, the motivation is still there. Like, I just got done reacting to Final Fantasy XIV, the 6.4 update that's about to happen. And that'll be up when I have the time to edit it out. Now, how have I been spending my time when I do have the time? I'll save 14, the one for last, obviously, but the first one is, now that I didn't focus on YouTube and stuff anymore, I was able to play single-player games by myself again. And if you are a content creator, especially a streamer, you would have this weird feeling where when you play a game by yourself, it's not right. Even when it's a single-player game. And that's because of the streaming mentality. Is it a bad thing? No. But it's pure facts. Like, even Max came out and stated he had to state that, how it felt extremely weird to play a game by himself because there's no chat to interact with. Like, you would do this for so long that the act that you would put on camera, on mic, when you're streaming, and when you have to just completely shut that off and sit there and be in the game's world that you're currently playing, it's weird. But I got to doing that again, and man, oh man, it felt weird at first, but then I gradually started getting used to it again. Like, I guess as of now, recently, like, I played Fire Emblem Three Houses. I finally got around to getting that. I sided with, oh my god, what was his name? The Blue Lions, basically. I sided with the Blue Lions, and then now I'm on Dimitri. Thank you. I sided with Dimitri first in my first playthrough, and it's not because, oh my god, I want to be different. No, the reason why I sided with Dimitri was when you first interact with all three students, there is a moment where Edelgard like starts talking and trying to recruit you, and then he literally just stops under your tracks saying, Edelgard, please let me talk. Like, that was the only moment I was like, okay, I'll fuck with Dimitri. I gotta be with him. And I don't regret it. I love Dimitri. I love almost all the characters in the Blue Lions except for, oh my god, I forgot her name. She's the one like real soldier, and she's the blonde. I forgot her name. But she glorifies her fiance's death because it's like a true knight or whatever the hell. Like, at first she was a horrible. I hated that aspect of her. I hated it. But after the time skip, the fact when she actually accepted the fact that she did glorify it for literally no means, right? And she finally came to terms with herself, that's when I started liking her. Anyways, I'm getting off track. So I played Three Houses, and now I'm on Claude. I just got to time skip Claude, but then life happens, and then Battle Network happens. I was like, oh, fine, I'll fucking get Battle Network, and now I'm currently playing Battle Network 2. Did I get anything on my PlayStation 5? I'm not too sure. But yeah, so I've been playing games that I wouldn't have, or not I wouldn't have, that I would have played on stream, and playing them again solely it's nice. The second thing I started doing, other than taking care of my Doge over here, Bentley's okay, just to let you guys know. There was another thing that I got into, and it's reading. And it's so weird, because in all my life, I would never thought I would get back into reading, but the series that I'm going to say might shock you, and you guys might call me a bandwagoner. But let me be the first one to say this. I knew about the series way beforehand. I saw them as a wee little lad. I saw the covers, but I didn't care about them, dude. They're books. Ugh. I got into reading the freaking Warhammer 40K books. Like I don't have like the time and the space and the friends would be willing to play the game itself. So the next best thing is the books and even possibly the video games, right? So I got into that, and the spark was really with Henry Cavill came out on the interwebs saying how he's gonna make a 40K series on Amazon, and he's gonna try to stick true to the books as much as possible, you know, because he got screwed over on Witcher. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll read it. And then I started reading it, and man, it has been amazing, dude. I started reading more of the short stories. I'm not really ready, nor do I have the room in this current household to start stacking like the Horus Heresy books and shit. Currently, I'm on Death Watch, the Xenos Hunters. And I got through Heroes of the Space Marine, which is these books specifically are just a collection of short stories from different authors, and I love it. I love majority of these short stories. Let me just say this short story now. There's this scenario where a group of normal-ass Marines, like, you know, like normal humans, right? So for you guys who don't know, Space Marines are like basically Hulks. So you got these normal-ass humans that's on this alien planet with like I believe like another like Space Marine, aka an Astartes, and they were just running because that was the only option they could do in the desert on bikes. So what happened is these two, maybe even one Marine was like just seeing everyone around him die. Like there's this detailed death where I believe it was a Space Marine where he tried to crash into the Xenos' bikes himself, and then the more they confronted one another, and then the Xenos basically slashed his head off, and it started rolling onto the freaking dunes. It was crazy, and at the end of it all, the survivors, the two survivors, I believe, went into a cavern, and I believe they set off a beacon, and they were surrounded by Xenos, aka aliens. Hoping that, you know, somebody would get this beacon, and then out of nowhere, like I think it was a beam of light that came down, and it was a portal. It was a portal, and a Space Marine just literally just walks out clad in yellow, and he held nothing back. The moment he walked out, he just pulled out his bolters and just started blasting all the aliens, and the Marine freaking was able to escape, but that was the last thing he saw of that Space Marine. When he looked back, he just saw this hulking monster of a human just started blasting at the Xenos and just started running towards them as the portal closes. That was one of the most amazing things I've read. I love short stories done well, and it's depicted this way for the Space Marines because, in long story short, the Emperor the Space Marines are the Emperor's angels. That's how in this world they identify these freaking creations. They are the Emperor's angels, and the way that he came down and saved them and just straight up just eradicating the Xenos round start. The savior. That's the savior. So I love it. I love reading that shit. But the other one would be, the other one, the game that took a lot out of me emotionally and mentally was Final Fantasy XIV. Now, Final Fantasy XIV, I know it is known as the FGC retirement home, but believe me or not, I am not retired. I still fight. Goddamn it, I got mashed into like A rank in freaking Melted Blood. I started playing Iron Fist again in freaking Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because Marvel got announced for EVO. KOF, I still play these games. But during the COVID times, FF14 was there, and I gave it a shot. And then I begged my other friends to freaking play with me, and they were willing enough and annoyed enough to try it, and we all played it together. and it was one of the best decisions I possibly ever made. FF14 is easily one of the greatest games I have ever played in my life. From the story to the characters to the music, it is phenomenal. And being able to go with friends throughout an adventure from A Realm Reborn all the way up into Endwalker to 6.4, almost leading up to the next expansion, it has been an unforgettable experience. I cried on multiple occasions because there's a way that these characters speak and are written, and it just hits me a lot more heavily than I would anticipate, because it's how I feel. Like, there's a moment where, the first one, where at the end of Shadowbringers, where Alphinaud has to say goodbye to Dulia. I'm gonna pull it here in the video, but the way that he encourages like them, that yeah, you guys are a lot more braver than I was. You guys stood your ground, yada yada yada. You guys should be proud. And Dulia and her husband are written as the parental figures in this expansion, not towards Alphinaud, but just in general. There are these like parental guardians, and it's so well done. And the moment that made me just shed so many tears, because it just felt like I needed to hear those words. Oh my god, I'm crying about it now. It was when Dulia put her hand onto Alphinaud's face.
Oh, it's you. As you can see, Alphinaud has broken the news. I don't know how to console her. She thinks we'll be lost without him.
You'll never let me forget it, will you? I'll have you know I completed the promised painting in the end. Be that as it may, there are times only words will suffice. Lady Chai, I have a confession to make. On the day we ousted Lord Vorthree, when I revealed the truth of his tyranny and your complicity in his crimes, I did so with great trepidation. Not out of fear that you wouldn't listen, but that you might never recover. There was a time when I too, in my hubris, believed myself worthy to lord it over others. And when the lie was laid bare, when I was forced to confront the cost, the lives lost, it all but destroyed me. To awaken from a naive dream to so harsh a reality, I would have understood had you all surrendered to despair. But you didn't surrender. Far from it. You picked yourselves up and rose to the challenge. You found a path forward and the strength to walk it, and to keep walking it, day after day. But what struck me is how much faster you found it than I did.
Really? That felt pretty slow to me. But rest assured, we'll make Yulmore into a nation anyone would be proud to call home. Eventually. You can still come and go as you please, I believe. When we have good tidings to report, I may trouble you to be their bearer. There may also be less than good tidings, in which event I hope I can trouble you for your counsel.
I should be honored to provide it, Master Chai.
Oh, Alphinaud. I know you aren't one to sit still, but do remember to take your ease from time to time. And no matter where you are, remember that there are people here who are praying for your health and happiness. Our brave and gentle artist, you have our love, now and always.
And you mine. Please take care.
Maybe that says a lot about like my situation in general, right? But it's like something I needed to hear, and I couldn't stop the tears when I heard. I'm crying about it now, with how powerful that damn thing was. And then at the end of it all, there's this moment where like a character would tell you if this life has been a burden. It hasn't been a gift or a burden. Alpha No would be like, he knows, like, there was a lot of moments where he got to his knees and didn't think he would get back up. The moments that counterweight that was like he knew unbridled happiness and just joy throughout all of the struggles that he went through. And again, it felt like it's something I felt like. It's just how the way the dude was written and his way of words, it just affected me more than normal. I loved it. Yeah, shout out to Final Fantasy 14. That's where I spent a lot of my time back then. I still go on it to try to be the Omni Crafter that I want to be. One of the greatest choices I've ever made. I love it, and the fact that I made a video about it, hopefully it'll come out soon. It's happy. It's like it's again a game that I love, that I want to just cover and have fun. So, yeah. Anyways, that's enough rambling. I've been rambling for 50 minutes, so I'm gonna have to cut this bad boy down a lot. I don't want to run your ears off about like all this depressing guilt stuff, and oh my god, I'm tearing up. Anyways, thank you guys very much for tuning in, as long as you guys did. It means a lot. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be back permanently in the future, but as of now, a very, very sprinkled out JeromeTelos is going to have to be the way. And I apologize for that. Life just happens. Thank you guys very much for understanding. And I guess I'll see you guys within the next video.
As I commit these words to parchment, I fondly recall my journey as a scion. From the time I first walked into the Order's former halls, to the time I set forth to forestall the final days. At the farthest reaches of the Sea of Stars, we fought the battle of our lives. Fought against despair itself, a veritable maelstrom of it, fed by the resignation that dwelled in the hearts of beings not so unlike ourselves. Full oft have I harbored the same malaise. Have I been brought to my knees, crushed by the weight of sorrow and defeat, convinced that I will never rise again. However, I have also known many moments of unbridled joy and happiness. By this truth do I find hope within, blooming resplendent, like the Elpis flower. And thus do I endure. Do I look forward to creating more memories with my friends and loved ones.